In this video, the main thing is going to be showing you how you can derive the derivative of all the trig functions. However, with all this talk of derivatives, maybe you've wondered, is there a function such that its derivative is itself? It's a valid question because then that comes up to be fairly useful, especially if you study differential equations. The answer to that question is yes. The derivative of e to the x is e to the x. Very useful. And its inverse, ln of x, is 1 over x. These are very nice to know, and I'm very, very much so going to use them in the next video where we go over the chain rule. However, the main thing about this video, as I said, is trig, right? So let's just have a quick review. Right, we have sine x, cosine x, tangent of x, secant of x, cosecant of x, cotangent of x. Tangent is sine x over cosine x. Secant is 1 over cosine x. Cosecant is 1 over sine x. And cotangent is cosine x over sine x, right? And if you recall, the derivative of sine is cosine. The derivative of cosine is negative sine. And as I showed in the last video, the derivative of tangent is secant squared of x. Right? So that covers the first half of the list. Now, let's do the second half. Let's differentiate secant. And again, you could just memorize the formula, but if you're like panicking on an exam or whatever, you're not going to be in the best shape to do so. Which is the derivative of 1 over cosine of x. All right, this is going to be a quotient rule. So we're going to have low d high minus high d low over low squared. Low cosine d high 0 minus high 1 d low sine. Sorry, negative sine. But because there's a negative sign, this becomes plus sine, right? And cosine times 0 is just 0. So this equals sine x divided by cosine squared, which is secant of x, tangent of x. So let me just write this up here. Oop, little typo there. All right, so this is really good quotient rule practice, right? Let's try it again, but this time you're going to try it on your own first, right? Let's do cotangent, right? You could approach this as 1 over tangent or cosine over sine. It's your choice, all right? Pause the video, give it a shot. I'll do it in both ways. All right, ready to see it? So first, let's do the derivative of 1 over tangent. Right, so we're going to have low d high minus high d low over low squared. So we get tangent of x times 0 minus secant squared of x divided by tangent squared, which is really just negative secant squared of x over tangent of x. And this becomes negative secant squared of x cotangent squared of x. All right, and let's see if we can simplify this. I think we can, because we get negative 1 over sine squared of x, or sorry, cosine squared. And then you get cosine squared of x over sine squared of x. The cosines cancel out. You get negative 1 over sine squared of x. So the derivative with respect to x, cotangent of x is, let me get the green one, negative cosecant squared of x. That's nice to know. But let's do it again, this time saying that cotangent of x is cosine of x over sine of x. Right? So we get low sine x, d high, negative sine x, minus high cosine x, d low cosine x again, so it's cosine squared, over low sine squared. This is negative of sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x over sine squared of x, which is negative 1 over that, and that's the same thing as negative cosecant squared. All right, and by process of elimination, the next one is going to be the derivative of cosecant. As always, pause the video, give it a shot. All right, let's do it. This is 1 over sine of x. So now we're going to differentiate it. We're going to get low d high minus high d low over low squared. So we get negative cosine of x divided by sine squared of x. Well, if we have cosine over sine, it's going to be cotangent. And if you just have 1 over sine, it's going to be cosecant. And keep in mind, I did carry the negative, so the derivative with respect to x of cosecant of x is negative cosecant of x cotangent of x. Cool. That was some pretty good trig and quotient rule practice. If we're being realistic, sine, cosine, maybe tangent are the ones you should memorize. Definitely sine and cosine. Maybe tangent, maybe not. But if you know just sine and cosine, you can get everything else, right? So yeah, fairly short video. But anyways, thank you for watching. If this was helpful, consider leaving a like. If it wasn't helpful, maybe a comment as to how I can improve. If it was really helpful, maybe subscribe. And as always, free Calc 1 book in the link below, or the description below, not the link. Right? And yeah, thank you for watching.